Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Castro, and I want to go ahead and apologize. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to upload today on my usual upload days, but I've been having to deal with one of the hardest times of my life. Um, on Tuesday, after I uploaded the Rocket League video, my mom comes into the room and she asked me if I could buy her a plane ticket to Mexico, and I told her, yeah, but why? And she had told me that my uncle called her recently and told her that my grandma wasn't doing too well. And my grandma's been fighting a really hard battle with her illness. And I told her, yeah, of course I would. I would buy her a plane ticket the next day. And I told her that if she wanted to, I could come along. And my mom, being the optimist that she is, said there was no worries, that she would just go alone, that she would go to Mexico and wait on her to feel better and then come back home herself. But that wasn't the case. A few hours later, while I was uploading the next video to put out, I heard my mom scream and dropped everything I was doing and went up and checked on her. And I could hear my aunt on the phone crying, and my mom was just collapsed. And in the back of my mind, I guess I knew what had happened. And I held her for a good bit. I guess I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do in that situation. And all I wanted to do was just be strong for her and stay by her side. And just find a way to comfort her. But I pretty much lost it when she had stopped crying for a little bit and began asking me if it was true. If it was true that her mom was really gone. Nobody wants to see their mom cry. That night was one of the longest nights that I have ever had to endure. Followed by the next day, driving my mom up to the the airport. And, I'd spent all night trying to buy a ticket. The banks were closed. I couldn't access my bank account. I couldn't buy a plane ticket to be with her through what may be like the hardest time she's probably ever had to go through. And I just couldn't be there for her. And it sucks. But thank God it's been about 4 days. She finally called back, and I got to hear her voice, and she's doing a lot better. She's doing fine. But I'm telling you, it's only been about 4 days, and I myself haven't even tried to even find out how to deal with it. A lot of my friends have been trying to contact me and communicate me, and I apologize. I mean, it's not that I was trying to ignore you. It's just, again, I don't know how to deal with the situation, and I just don't want to make people worried. But I've been sitting at home, pretty much locked up in my room, not knowing what to do. And I found this little gem, and For all of you who don't know this game, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone knows Super Mario, but I was playing this game recently, and not only did I realize I'm really bad at it, but it also reminded me of one of the first and best memories that I have of my grandma. My parents, you know, had come here to start a new life. They became civilians of North America and started working here. But it was such a hard and arduous process to go back to Mexico, so they sacrificed all their time to work. And after some time, they finally saved up enough money to go, and I was 9 at the time. And my mom was so excited to go see my grandma again. And it was such a new culture for a 9-year-old kid. It was really you know, something different, like something that I wasn't used to. I've been living here in the States my entire life, so seeing the different culture that my mom and dad was raised in, it was exciting, it was new, but at the same time I was scared. I didn't know what to expect. And we made it there, and I got to meet my grandma for the first time. And she looked just like my mom. And despite only having met me that day, she just went ahead and just hugged me and kissed me. And you know, being that 9-year-old kid, I thought it was a little odd. I didn't know who this woman was, but again, it was just having to do with just randomly meeting this whole new family that I never ever met in my entire life. And I remember a couple of days after that, my parents were going to go to a party near town. And, you know, because they were going to leave me, I was scared. I was a pretty big crybaby back in the day. I guess I still am. But the only way that I could, you know, cope and feel like I was back at home was through video games. That's how I related to anything, really. And I asked my cousin at the time, who was going to be there while my grandma babysat us, if he had any video games, if he had any consoles or anything like that. And he dug around and searched, and we found this old NES and found a couple of cartridges and other games, but the game that I just knew, that I knew how to play, that I saw was Super Mario Bros. And I remember we sat there and we played this game for a good bit. And that's when my grandma came down and sat next to us in the couch. And I remember she sat there and looked for, you know, watched us play for a little bit, and then she looked at my cousin and told him that his dad, my uncle, was really good at this game. And we were both really excited because, you know, that day he was going to come by and eat dinner with us. So at the dinner table, we asked him, we were excited, we asked him if he could play for us while we watch him, and he said sure. And that was the first time that I'd ever seen this game ever beaten. I never knew there was an ending to it. And so after he left, me and my cousin just devoted ourselves to try to beat this game the same way that he did it. And it was fun because, you know, it was like bonding with someone that I had never met. But that's when my grandma walked in, and she started watching us play. And you know how kids are, whenever we die or we lose, we just get a little feisty, a little angry. And that's how we were. Crap. But with each death and the madder and louder that we got, my grandma, sitting there on the couch with us, just started laughing. And I don't know if she realized at that point, but because she did that, it completely took away that homesick feeling that I was going through, and here's why. A couple of years ago, I mean, this is before that, I was 4 or 5. My mom had bought me my first console ever, the Super Nintendo. And along with the 2 games, my 2 first games ever that I ever owned, Donkey Kong Country and Super Mario World. And I remember her, bless her heart, regardless of how hard her day was, she still had time to just sit down and play with me. And one of the greatest things that I loved about my mom playing with her was was that she sat there and just laughed, and which caused me to die even more frequently, and she would just start laughing again. And so whether my grandma realized it or not, she made me feel like I was back at home. And I actually started dying more and more on purpose and just saying just random stuff just to get her to laugh. But it was such a fond memory, and sure, there's plenty of others that I shared with her, but that one being my first, interaction with her, where I truly felt like she was family. She's definitely my mom's mom. And I would do anything to try to make her happy like I would again to my mom. And so she single-handedly just made me feel just loved, secured, and I'm sure she didn't even like playing video games, but she didn't really care. She just did whatever she needed to be to make me and my cousin happy at that time. It's those kinds of memories that will just never go away. I'll always cherish forever. And I know now that despite of all the things that she was going through, I know she's now in a much, much better place. That she's with my great grandma somewhere just watching us. I know it's something I can't prove, but I just know. And I know that she's happier. She's at peace now. So if you are really watching this, Grandma, we miss you, and rest in peace. Thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you so much for giving my mom the world and even the food off your plate. Just to go on day by day, taking care of all your children, all my aunts and uncles. We thank you, and we will really miss you. And I want to say that I'll always continue to live by the advice that you and several others of my family members have given me, that, whether you guys know it or not, has saved me so many times. And that's to always, no matter what the situation is, no matter how dark the days, no matter how hard things get, to just learn from every little thing, always face forward, and to smile. And not just any smile, but a smile that not even the saddest of days can beat. And I thank you so much for that. So thank you everyone again for all the support and all the things that were said and done to help us get through this. I know I didn't really do my part. I've ignored everyone, but again, I apologize, and I hope you guys can forgive me. I didn't know how to deal with the situation, but I'm a lot better now. And I'm thankful for, again, everyone. Thank you so much for helping me get through this, and we're going to be okay. So, thanks again, all, for everything that you've done. This has been your friend Castro. EX, peace.